Hey friends, it's Jess and Jericho, and the first aid that I really like to use at home, really simple, there are no side effects, and there are actually a lot of studies that talk about it. There are a lot of studies using this for skin issues and inflammation, and even healing wounds post-elective surgery. It can reduce inflammation, as I mentioned, and it can promote skin tissue healing. And I use it for myself and I use it for Jericho for acute issues like fresh wounds, something that just happened. It's really, really beneficial, and I've used it, like I said, for myself and for Jericho. For chronic issues, I'm still waiting on results because these things take years to develop, so they're going to take longer to heal. So what I like to use is red light therapy. Now, light is measured in nanometers, and depending on that nanometer is going to affect how deep the light travels, basically, when you're using it on yourself. So the nanometers in the 600 range, those are actually within the visible light spectrum, so we can see those lights, and those are for more superficial, like skin issues. But then when you get into the 800s, 900s, and 1000s, those ones actually travel much deeper into the tissue. That is the near infrared spectrum, and that's actually right outside of visible light. So we can't see that light. So this is the device that I use. It's called NovaLab, and it has lights around the outside. These ones are 650 nanometers. So those are within visible light. You can see those lights. And then the four that are in the middle here is 808. So that's near infrared. You can't see those. I'm not gonna turn it on because I don't wanna blind you. But basically you will see the lights on the outside, but you won't see the lights on the inside. And for this one, this is the Pro Extra Strength. So I bought this back in November. The previous red light that I was using has a nanometer that I discovered I didn't want to use anymore, and I actually did a scriptural light study with sunlight and red light. So if you want to understand why and are interested in that, I'll put the video in the description. But so I found this one because I found a study among cats with stomatitis, which is inflammation in the mouth. And I feel like that's what Jericho has. He has a lot of gum inflammation. And so the study uses 808 nanometers. And this was the only device that I could find that uses 808 that isn't for professional veterinary use. You know, it like comes with a huge machine that you have to plug in. So this was the only one that was and they're like thousands of dollars. This was the only one that was handheld that was more affordable. And you can only use all of the lights all at the same time. You can't use one or the other. There's also a timer, so you can do 5 minutes, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. The cats with stomatitis study used the 808 nanometers on 2 different groups of cats. And the only difference really was the dosage time. And I believe actually the speed at which, because it was flashing light, but basically the cats that only had a dosage time of 4 seconds on each point, they did basically like a little triangle around here. The ones that had 4 seconds had really great results. The inflammation went down completely. And then the other group, I think their dosage time was 10 seconds. They actually found that the inflammation got a little bit worse. So I think that with the red light therapy, it's great because there are no side effects and it's helpful, but also less is more. So you don't even have to use it a lot. So with Jericho, he also has otitis externa, which is outer ear inflammation. And so this is good for inflammation. Originally, I was doing 4 seconds because that's what the study proved. And I didn't really see that great results yet. I mean, it's been a couple of months, so of course. But with that study, it was a few weeks. I think it was only 10 sessions, two sessions a week for 10 sessions total. So that would be 5 weeks. The other thing is in that study, the cats had their teeth removed prior. So, I mean, Jericho has his teeth, it's just that they're inflamed. It is helping his ears. I'm still waiting on the inflammation in his mouth. But like I said, for acute stuff, fresh wounds, it works really well. So Jericho scratched me one day while we were playing, and I get red light right on it right away. So the first day, it's pretty red and open. By day day one, basically like 24 hours later, the cut is like already closing up. The next day, it's like closed and also pretty much all healed. And today, like I don't even have a scar. So it's really great for fresh wounds because you can get it on there and it'll start healing the tissue immediately. Whereas, like I said, with chronic issues, these things take years to develop, so it's going to take longer to heal. But I also use this on Jericho if he ends up scratching his face or something. If he's scratching and he gets a cut on his chin, I'll put it on there. It heals it up very, very quickly. No ointments, no prescription, you know, just put the red light on there and it clears it up very fast. And same thing, sometimes like he'll scratch his eye by accident and then it'll bother him and it'll be red. Obviously, don't point light into your cat's eye or your eyes. But what I do is close his eye over and then put the red light kind of near the eye, and it clears it up right away. It's really, really great. Very, very convenient. So I really like this as a first aid for sure. Like I said, I'm still waiting on the chronic issues, and I am using it for myself as well for other issues. Actually, this past week, I had some congestion in my nose, lots of runniness. My throat was sore as well. So I used the red light therapy on it. Took some herbs, got lots of sleep, done in a week. No big pharma needed. So I just used the red light therapy because it's good for inflammation. So it helps a lot, and I really, really enjoy having this at home because it's super convenient to have. So I get a cut or something and then I use, boom, put it right on there and it heals so much quicker. So since I did see great results with it, I joined their affiliate program. So you can use my code, Jess Caticles, to save 10% on your first order. So I think that's great, and I really like using it for myself and for Jericho. And I'll put links to those studies and the packets and stuff in the description. You know, I use it for myself personally and for Jericho, but I'm not a veterinarian, so I can't really give you advice on how to use it, but there are a lot of veterinarians that are now using red light therapy in their practice. So, you know, maybe you can find one of those and kind of get some guidance when you buy your own device. Some veterinarians even have red light therapy devices that you can rent from them. It's going to be way more expensive than buying your own device, but that's an option. So check the description for my code, Jess Caticles, to save 10% on your first order. And if you'd like to check out that scriptural sunlight and red light therapy study, check it out right over Mya. No pressure, but it is fascinating, and there are a lot of quote unquote coincidences. I don't think they're coincidences. I think it's intentional, but it's a really great study and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.